Hey, what's going on, guys? So I wanted to put together a series for you. I'm all about this series shit because I want to break down multiple videos. I don't like to go over 20 minutes or something like that. I thought this would be something useful because I made a series about templates for athletic upper and lower bodies. And I figured what I wanted to do is kind of give you my no holds bar approach to people coming in and how I program them. Obviously, I have a direct bias. I really like to train even topic, general population. I like to make them athletes. I want them to move and feel like an athlete. And that comes with function follows form. So they're gonna look good, they're gonna feel good, they're gonna be more energetic. I think back about my days of preparing for football and playing football. Even though that was such a collision sport, those were the healthiest I've ever felt. I mean, just everything was aligned for me, my eating, everything. So I try to give the same experience to everybody. Obviously, I deal with a lot of athletes, but I always want to do this, and always, my vision for training is just be able to have guys who look like Tarzan and play like Tarzan. Instead of the opposite way, a lot of these guys out there are bodybuilders, but you get them on the field or something like that and they just look so unnatural. So I think we lose a lot of functionality, and I really like to bring that back and train with you. So what I want to do is put together some kind of programming thing, if you will. A lot of this dialect is going to be directed towards athletes. Like I mentioned, that's a lot of people I deal with, so you can take that, but some people of you can start to incorporate some of these things for yourself. If you want to design yourself a program or one of your athletes. Now I must say, I'm a big advocate of looking into research and what studies show and everything, but literally I'm throwing all that out the window. So if you want to challenge me, go right ahead, I welcome it. I'm just giving you from my experience, which I think it's over the past couple years and just seeing what I've done with a lot of athletes. It's mainly, like I said, based off experience and how I begin to break it down, and I'm trying to put it into words for you guys. I'm going to use some of the terminology. A lot of this terminology I'll break down more when I do the vertical jump program that I'm formulating for you guys, but I think it's going to be one of the top ones. And really, I just want you guys to kind of see what's going on in my mind as I do it. So let me get started. So the first and foremost thing that happens is when somebody comes into the gym, before assessing and evaluating and start to figure out movements, we need to begin to immediately start to categorize. A lot of things that I say to some of my athletes, I say, if we just focus on what you're not focusing on right now, we focus on what you suck at, you're probably gonna put up a better season than you did last year. The problem is it's not that focusing on our strengths isn't good. I mean, if you're a quarterback and you have a really strong arm, right? I mean, you're still gonna give time to your arm, and your footwork sucks. Why not give a little time to your footwork? If we have that strong of an arm and we can increase your footwork, it's like, yo, you just became a better athlete. You know what I mean? It's a matter of, I think of it as a pie, and instead of taking away pieces, we want to add pieces to that pie or that puzzle to complete that athlete or that person. And that's really what I'm looking to categorize. So as you can see here, I just give six terms, I'm sorry. And this is kind of what I've been, when you get older, this starts to mask itself a little bit more. A lot of you guys might be familiar with the terms ecto, meso, and endomorph. This is semi-similar, and that's kind of like what they go off of the genetic disposition of your body composition. This, however, is more to do with their athletic capabilities, their functionality, and that kind of crosses that barrier. So what you see here is, the first one I have is Juice. Juice is kind of that kid who grows up and he's just fluid. He's smooth, he's good on the dance floor. It sounds crazy, but he's good on the basketball courts. He's good at almost every sport. He's not great at one. He's kind of good at all of them. He's got fluid hips. He's it's not like he's overly strong or overly fast. He's just, somehow he makes the play, okay? Next we have brick. Now this is obviously, let me go over this real quick. The top half are the good, or what you're going for. The bottom half is what a lot of you guys are stuck in. It's almost like purgatory or something. Brick, like I said, is that guy who is just a chopping block. I mean, the kid just completely shoots up in strength all the time. This is the kid that you know, he's a little bit shorter, a little bit stumpier, but he's just strong as shit. His strength goes up like crazy. He's got a lot of power, and usually, you know, he could take on quite amount of size, if you will. A lot of those power lifters end up being bricks. Last one I have is Twitch. You can see here, Twitch. Twitch is going to be that kid. I kind of categorize myself as a kid. He was like the bolt at the playground as a young buck. He just possesses a lot of power. It's like at any moment, it's like there's, you know what I mean, you spark that on and it's there, you know what I mean? It's just a lot of movement. These are the kids that can jump, you know, unnaturally pretty high, pretty fast. You know, pretty coordinated, but they have a lot of power. They have a really sharp nervous system. And then below that is obviously the negatives. The opposite of juice is going to be Goofy. I don't know if you guys even remember Goofy. I don't even know if he does movies anymore. But anyway, he's a Disney character where he's just so awkward and uncoordinated, and he just, I mean, he doesn't have he has 2 left feet on the dance floor. The guy just, he can't catch a break. Brick, I put Marshmallow Man. That's really what the, you know, those young fluffy kids who are very soft and tender, typically have a bad diet. I mean, that's where you could categorize those, like we said, this is more of a body composition, but they are soft too. They don't gain strength. They're big boys, but they're not getting too much strength. And then last but not least, Twitch. There used to be an old cartoon called Gumby. A lot of you guys might be familiar with this. But he was just like this string bean weirdo. I mean, Olive Oil Gumby, those guys fall in that category. Don't really have power in their body. But that's what we want to kind of strive for, if you will. What I typically try to do, and where I go off of this scale, it sounds crazy, this is just in my head, I just make terms up, okay? And really what I want to do is I want to take that person, I kind of want to find out where they were. I had an interesting conversation when I was in high school. When I was in high school, I talked to the head strength and conditioning coach for the Houston Texans at the gym. I was a janitor at World's Gym. And what he explained to me out of high school, you know, I'm sitting here, I'm searching for junior colleges to go to, and you know, I'm down on my luck, like, man, my D1 dream just kind of faded away. And what he mentioned to me was, he said, he said it in a way to where he was trying to tell us, hey, go get a career, boys. He told me my brother Bracky. And what he said was, he said, you know, the guys who you typically make it to the NFL are those guys who, you know, at 3rd grade, they're the ones outrunning everybody else. It's not like they have more training or anything else. It's just their genetic disposition. Well, I took that and I was like, holy shit, that was me. You know what I mean? I was that kid. So it was like, you know, that just motivated me even more. But anyway, that conversation led me to thinking, like, a lot of times when you analyze those younger kids, you can kind of see. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of them grow up, or a lot of them mature at different ages. Some will mature a lot faster than others, and then they'll hit that ceiling, and some will continue to go. I knew a lot of kids when I was in high school that hit that ceiling by 9th, 10th grade, whereas my ass is all awkward and don't know what to do with my new body, and then I couldn't get my man strength till a year out of high school. You know what I mean? So it just depends there's a lot of factors involved in it, but I try to gauge kind of what person they've been their entire life as far as me categorizing them. And then from there, what I'm able to do is see what direction we need to go. If you have somebody in this category, we obviously want to get them a little bit more fluid. If it's their negative, we want to increase them to their positive performance. If they're, you know, fluffy and soft and weak, we want to get them stronger and thicker and denser. If they're Gumby, obviously, like I said, we want to get them a little bit more powerful. Now, this is just a direct correlation. Obviously, depending on what goals they specifically want, we can move in that direction. But this is just a way for me to initially get them analyzing, seeing, hey, what do we need? Wow, this kid can squat a shit ton. Why is he still focusing on squatting when we need to get him jumping and running or something? I hope that makes sense. Next, I go to categorizing by sport and movement. Now sport, what I try to do in sport, I can kind of say their goals. So whether I have a running back or a guy that comes in who just wants to feel better on the weekends and gain 2 inches, 3 inches on his arm and put up more weight. No matter what it is, I call it sport specific because this is your tangible goals. And really what I do off those goals is see if it's a strength or a weakness. It's almost just basically a line scale. You know, if I have a running back that comes to me and he's just, I mean, he's the most fluid kid on the field, he's fast, and the kid doesn't hit the weight room at all, he's weak, he can't break a tackle, what do you think I'm gonna focus on? A lot of my time there is gonna be focused on the gym. Now, I don't wanna neglect the field movements, but typically the way he got that way is because he's already on the field, he's always practicing the sport. In reverse, I can have a kid who works out all the time in the weight room and then doesn't do anything on the field. Obviously, you know where the weakness is and we want to go towards that. All it is about exposing your weaknesses in the beginning and really seeing how you're going to approach that program and how you want to approach that game plan. From there, I say movement, and it's the same scale, strength or weakness. So a big thing that I do with movement is, you know, as I see them going through a movement assessment, now this is where we want to see, hey, what are they, what do they tend to go towards and what do they tend to shy away from? A lot of people in our society like to bench press. They can push a shit ton, but their pull doesn't match it. It's just about balancing this part out and kind of discovering those. And later down the road, this will prevent us from injuries if we can figure that out. And the big thing that I put down here is needs versus wants. Needs always trumps your wants, okay? A lot of kids want a lot of things, but they don't understand what their need is as far as making them a better athlete. Now, like I said, this is just a rough kind of sketch up real quick. I've given you what's in my mind immediately when somebody's coming in and what I'm trying to figure out. What I'll do next is I'll begin to start telling you how I break down programming and everything, but I can't go into all that unless you guys realize why I'm programming around somebody. It has to be that sport specific, has to be what they want to play or what they're trying to achieve. It has to be, like I said, it just has to be so specific that they know and they understand and we understand what their needs are, not so much their wants. So I hope that helps. I'll get on that next part series for you guys. I'll catch you guys next time.
I don't want to be an icon. I want to be an idea. You know, I want to represent an idea.
So look, for top speed exercise today, I wanted to share with you guys something that I think is such a simple tool you can utilize to correct a lot of your top speed. So often I talk about the mechanics of the lower body and cycling when you're in top speed.